Oh, what a good night's sleep down here. Can't believe how warm it was. It's 16 degrees. It's about 10 degrees warmer down here than outside. And they even turn the lights off at night. So, yeah, nice sleep. Well, the car park just comes out onto this really cool city park built among the old walls here. If you don't know what Göbekli Tepe is, it's an old, ancient set of ruins with stone monoliths and stone carvings with mystic symbology, and it's one of the most confounding archaeological discoveries ever, really. Mainly due to its age, because it's about 12,000 years old, I think. And if you compare it to things like the pyramids, which were 4,500 years old, and Stonehenge in Britain, which is 5,000 years old, nothing like this exists from that period, and it's contradicted a lot of what people thought about the history of humanity, really, because around that time humans were just hunter-gatherers, just involved in survival, really. And yet here you have this site with its mystic symbology and, you know, incredible stonework and buildings. It contradicts a lot of what historians thought about the history of our species. So interested to go and check it out. Well, they could have built it a bit closer to town, to be honest. Nice empty car park, that's what we like. First one here. Ticket with audio guide?
Audio guide. 1 plus 1 is 1 audio guide?
Yes.
110,
Yeah. So there are 5 structures, 5 buildings here, each supported by these giant T-shaped pillars, and many of them have these animal carvings on them. Well, it was always common opinion that only after agriculture was invented could you have food surplus and organised societies, whereas this was made around the Neolithic era, where humans were just hunter-gatherers. So yeah, it's strange to think of a society like this that employed, I mean, the amount of labour organisation and time and effort, and as well as advanced tools and technologies to build this thing was happening around that era. And it's not even a living settlement, this place. There's no evidence of homes or anything where people would live. It was just for rituals or gatherings. I don't really know. And there's all sorts of iconography and symbols carved into the reliefs on these giant pillars of various animals and forms, and no one really knows what it's about. So the reason why this is such a well-preserved site is because it was actually buried intentionally by people at the time. This happened over thousands of years, that this was built up and then used. But after that, it was buried, which seemed, no one knows why. It's very strange that you would have this huge structure that took so long and so much effort to build, and then just bury it. So here we have the new sites that have been discovered and are just starting the excavation process. Well, I didn't need to get here quite so early. No one else has turned up still. But yeah, it is very interesting to walk around that place. Just in time. Well, what a cool site. It's been proposed that it was built by the survivors of a much more ancient, advanced civilization that were partially destroyed in a cataclysm. There was a natural disaster, a comet or an asteroid hit Earth, it's thought around 12,000 years ago, just before Göbekli Tepe. So it could have been built by the survivors of that, because it doesn't really make sense for a hunter-gatherer population to suddenly learn advanced building techniques and aligning things to north-south and astrological constants. So it's a bit of a mystery, really. The asteroid could have held alien technology. It could have been the birth of modern humanity that came from an extraterrestrial source. We don't know. It's interesting to think, though, the amount of other ancient civilizations or populations that could have been lost and left for the hunter-gatherers to start again. And it could happen to our own fragile society, who knows? In the future we could have hunter-gatherers picking through the debris of our own version of humanity. But yeah, there's lots of mysteries out there, and it was great just to walk around there on my own. And now I'm heading back to Şanlıurfa, or Urfa, as the bloke in the cafe called it, Urfa. do like this city.
Kıymetli vatandaşlarım, bugüne kadar yapılan feda inşaatların karşılıksız kalmaması ve yeniden bir kavramla karşı karşıya kalmamak için lütfen hepimiz aşı olalım. Aşı olalım, sağlıklı kalalım.
Well, if you ever come to Şanlıurfa or Göbekli Tepe, I'd recommend staying in the this car park. It's £1.50 for 24 hours, so it's actually more expensive than other places, but it's dry, it's warm, it's safe, it's dark, so that's where I'm heading.
Ay sola dön. Yardım basan yukarıya çık.
Tamam.
Sola. Öyle numara bir kutu verip de adama ya da sağ.
What a cool place Şanlıurfa is. I had no idea. I was only stopping here because it was near Göbekli Tepe. What a treasure. That falafel wrap was good, and it was 7 lira with a drink, which is 40 pence. I'm deep in Turkey now. 10 lira.
Buradan mı yiyorsun?
Paket.
Paket.
I'm glad I'm not stealth parking out here. I'm glad I've got a nice car park to go back to. Well, I ordered about 40% too much baklava, which either means I have to save a small portion or eat it all. I've just been hanging out in the car this morning. It's nice just to be able to sit here comfortably, sleep without socks on. It's so much warmer down here. And still got another 5 hours of paid parking here till my 24 hours is up. I don't know what happens after that. They just haven't labelled how much it is on the sign, so new neighbours moving in. They seem alright. Well, I do enjoy living here. The only setback about this place is there's no European style coffee shop with plug sockets and Wi-Fi that I could hang out for a couple of hours. Other than that, it's just perfect here. The cats aren't quite as friendly compared to seaside cats. They're a bit more wary of humans. No? Cats just really fascinate me. No. Not today. I really like this somber flute that's playing somewhere in the distance. It's well, this part of Turkey has really been the birth of me as a nomad and not so much travelling. My trip was always moving on to somewhere. I always had Turkey to kind of move to, but now if my basic needs are fulfilled, I've got a nice parking space, toilet, nice open spaces. That's all I need really. I don't really have an urge to move anywhere so much anymore. So when I was walking around that abandoned ruins of Kadikoy a few weeks ago, and I mentioned the expulsion of Greek Christians and massacre of the local Greek Christian population, it kind of cast Muslims as the oppressors and kind of Greek Christians as the victims. But reading my book, you understand how deep this goes of wars between nations and religions, and but Turkey being in this junction between Europe and Asia, the history of conflict between religions and nationalities, the Bulgarians, the Albanians, the Greeks, the Turks, the Ottoman Empire, Russia have come down and invaded, once or twice a century. It's just been absolutely non-stop, and each one of these conflicts there's been huge holocausts and like hundreds and thousands of refugees, and it's been really interesting just reading about it here, learning about it in various museums, and traveling through the country as well, and seeing what customs and traditions have persevered and from which cultures. It's just a fascinating place. I mean, this book skims over a century's worth of conflict in a page, but it just gives you an idea of the amount of different groups at war.
Veysel bir porsiyon attır.
Buyurun.
Beraber yiyelim de böyle. Nasıl bak? Darbaş gel.
I'm staying another night in the car park tonight. It's just so much warmer than outside. It's, yeah, no need to move on, so here for another night.